Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you exactly what I invest in. Why do I invest in it? How? Where? And what will 2021 look like for me in regards to where am I going to be putting my money and why? Just a bit of insight and background to what I actually do. So without further ado, I'm really excited to share this with you and let's actually find out what I invest in. So now let's look at 9 ways in which I invest my money right now and also what I plan to do in 2021. So number 1, the first part of my investment and my biggest allocation is through fixed investing. So what is that? Well, essentially I lend to corporate companies, developers who I privately lend to for a fixed term and I get a fixed interest rate at the end of that term. So many of these developers who I lend money to, they are clients of mine. I also work alongside high net worth and family offices who also introduced this model to me years ago and I've been doing it ever since. So it's a very stable and secure way in order to compound and really capitalize in building up a good investment pot. I would say the risk levels are a low to medium ratio in regards to what you're actually lending against. But what I like about it is instead of investing a big chunk of your money to say one property development where that's the only exit. You have to wait for that property to sell or to be refinanced and to have the correct value in order to the investor to get out their money. The bonus about investing into fixed term investing through multi-asset schemes where my clients and these corporate developers, they will build out all at the same time. And in their company, they also own assets such as retail, big freeholds that are long leased to big high street companies. They develop out commercial, industrial, and private residential. So what you've got there is you've got multiple exit strategies in order to get the investors out if need be. You could refinance the commercial, you could refinance the residential, you could sell off the land that they own. So you're not tied in and there's multiple exit strategies. So that's why I like it, because if you're going to be investing a big bulk, I like to know that I could get my money out or there are exits. There's not just one way that I'm going to have to be hanging on to try and get my money back. So that's where a big portion of my money goes and I recycle year after year after year. What do I then see? I see a very good compound effect. I've seen it work with huge numbers through family offices and how quick they can build up these investment pots. And that's where I want to go with that. So that is my biggest allocation. I recycle year after year and that's what a lot of my clients do. So that's number 1, and that is for passive and long-term growth. Number 2, what do I lend into? Well, that is peer-to-peer lending. So I do this in multiple ways, and one of the ways that many of you know that I've spoken about before is any dead money that I have, I lend through Crowd Property. So I like to get dead money out of the bank, and I can get that on short terms down to 6 months at 8% return, which is great. So that is through Crowd Property, very reputable company, and I like to move smaller dead money into that. So that is a form of peer-to-peer where they collect money from multiple investors. It goes into property development schemes for a fixed term, and then you get back that interest rate. Very similar to my bigger fixed investment, but just on a smaller scale. The other way that I use peer-to-peer, and again, peer-to-peer can be a slash between income and also short-term growth of your capital. I also lend to smaller companies that have set up SPVs and will have perhaps 5 or 10, very similar to my other video. I'll pop it up here. Investor syndicates is that it's very similar to that. So an SPV will be set up to perhaps refurb or develop out a couple of properties, 2 or 3, and they need to pool the money from multiple investors, borrow that and then stick that first charge on those properties, and then they'll go ahead, do the works, and you get that interest rate back at the end of the term. But the term can be flexible. Sometimes you get an early repayment, it's not totally fixed, or you could have a later payment with a slight increased fee perhaps on top of that for a late payment coming back. Number 3, how do I invest? Well, that's through private lending. So what is private lending to you? Private lending to me is where I know several local builders who are reputable, who I trust, and they may say, Aaron, we need X amount of funds to complete a refurb or do this. We can offer you a very small interest rate for a smaller term. So again, that's a cross between short-term growth and again income. But again, it's passive. I don't need to be involved. But private lending if you see an opportunity, it can work very well. I also have one way that's an income for me is that I lend out privately to a company that refurbs and builds out HMOs. And what they offer their investors is a monthly return. So you invest out security on this. Again, there's no financial advice here, but my risk levels vary depending on the amount that I'm lending. Because I've got time on my side, I can go aggressive on my investments. And some of the private lending, the schemes are unique, and also the contract that you sign can be unique. So you can have it tailored to your preference. You could have an income, or you could have it rolled up and you could all be paid at the end of the year. I go for income because I'm willing to take that risk and drop my security levels for the very rewarding income that it can offer. So private lending can be anything. It's tailored, and I do some of that. Number four, so that's property. So this year I'm going to be heading up to Nottingham, I'm going to be heading up to Wolverhampton, moving on to sort of Nuneaton, Warwickshire way, and perhaps finishing up in Derby, where I'm going to be looking at picking up perhaps 2 to 3 bed buy-to-lets. Not sure on how many we're looking at, it'll be 1 or 2. And the reason we're doing that now is I'm going to be taking advantage of the crash and the bulk selling that I believe is going to be happening within the property market, because I believe landlords at the moment I know that landlords at the moment are trying to sell off big bulky portfolios because they've lost a lot of money and they just do not want the headache anymore. So if you have cash and you're able to buy cash, you're going to be in such a position to leverage your purchase price that I'm going to be taking advantage of that. And although property is great, it's a great place to store money. Yes, it's an income, but it can come with a headache. But I know when to take advantage of a market, and that this year I will be doing that. I'll be taking advantage and I'll be buying cash this year, anywhere in the Midlands and traveling up a little bit further. Number 5 is gold. So that's for storage. I invest into gold because I don't want my money being devalued in the bank. I don't trust the banking system. Many of you who follow me will know that already. So therefore I need an outlet. I need somewhere to store my funds. I need somewhere to beat the market. I need somewhere to beat the banks, and I want growth. I'm not bothered about overnight growth, but I want long, steady growth. As you'll see in my videos that I've spoken about gold, I'm a big believer. It's got such a history behind it that I will continue to average with gold, and I will buy that multiple times this year, and I will keep doing that. I normally aim for every 3 months to buy gold. I'm not overly bothered about the spot price that I pay because I'm averaging out. I just keep buying and buying and buying and use it as a foundation of wealth. Number 6, I will continue to invest in the Fidelity Index World Fund. I use Moneybox. I have tailored my stocks and shares portfolio because you can do that. Again, if you want to check that out, what I will do is at the end of this video, I will link my Moneybox review, and go check that out if you haven't, or you're perhaps not, you're undecided on what investment platform to use. So I will keep averaging in the stock market. Again, that's a long term. I don't believe that people that are under 30 at the moment, I don't believe that we're going to have access to our pensions. So a stocks and shares ISA is a great way to beat the market, build that nest egg for later in life, and it's liquid. You can get access to it. You haven't got to be governed by retirement age, and then you have to draw down and so forth. So stocks and shares ISA continue to cost average. Number 7, I will be investing into Bitcoin. I don't get overly excited when I hear the word Bitcoin, but I will be involved. I'd rather be in the game than not in the game. And again, what is Bitcoin to me? Well, that will be a way of storing money. It's a hedge against inflation. So like I say, I'm not going to be dumping loads of money. It's number 7, as you can see, but I will be involved in Bitcoin. I would say I'll probably be putting money into Bitcoin in the next 2 weeks, and that's that. Number 8, smaller ventures. So what are smaller ventures? I love projects. So I have invested into smaller wedding businesses where we've converted trailers, we've done small projects. I've invested into eBay before, into eBay shops. I had my own eBay shop, which done quite well. So I like small ventures, and I will always keep by that small amount of money that I might want to tinker, buy and sell things. And not only that, that can generate quite a nice income. So that's number 8. Number 9, the most important of all, I will be investing in myself. So I'll be putting money back in my own pocket. My education, my learning, my development, my networking, my branding, everything like that. That is so important, because without that, I can't do any of the previous ones that I've just spoken about. So investing in myself is crucial. I'm a big believer in self-education, and I really want to improve on everything that I'm doing, everything that I can learn. I really want to be improving self-development, mindset, physical, everything like that. So a big portion of my money always goes into my self-development. So that's 9 ways that I've just shared with you. I hope you found it interesting, offered a bit of an insight to where my money goes and what it does for me. And if you want to know any more, please feel, as always, reach out. And if you've got any value from this, I'm not going to overdo it, but please hit the like button, subscribe, and there's many more videos to come. And as always, thank you for watching if you did get this far. And until the next video, I will speak to all of you very soon.